Hey, if you're catching this live, happy Wednesday. It is a little before 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and I'm hopping on earlier in the day because my day got thrown a curveball. So that's what I would love to talk about today. If you do not know me, my name is Jill Coletti, and I work with moms who are feeling a little bit unfulfilled, um, but really they're looking to impact their children and have their children live amazing lives. And really, to be honest, it all starts with us, right? As mom. So, how do we help our children if we're not helping ourselves? But I do this through like energy work and things like that. Today I want to talk about what to do when you get thrown a curveball in your day, and how to protect your energy and not kind of succumb to the chaos of it all. So today, during the day, I do work in the school system. And today in the morning, we got notified that the water was being shut off because of an emergency situation in town. They had to shut off the water. So therefore, obviously, we could not house 900 children in the school. So the day gets disrupted. So I can talk about this in a couple different ways, right? Like I was in the school, there was a certain expectation of what I was going to be doing that day to help kids. And then all of a sudden that gets blown up, and then kids are all over the place and adults, and everybody's like, what do we do? What do we do? And it kind of started getting a little bit chaotic. Lots and lots of energy all over the place. So we could talk about it actually like being in that environment, right? When the energy is just going all over the place. We got thrown this curveball, and then there's 900 different personalities in the school, and everyone's like, what do we do?" Right? And then from like an administrative standpoint, it's like, okay, now we got to figure out how to move all these kids. What are we going to do? What's the plan, et cetera, et cetera. And then I'm also getting the phone calls, even though I was in the school, right? I'm getting the phone calls and the text messages on my phone saying, there's an emergency, like water had to be shut off, so therefore, you need to come get your kid. If you can't get your kid, this is the backup plan type of thing, right? So it's really interesting to think about it from these different perspectives, right? Ultimately, all in the end, we're all getting thrown this curveball. We had an expectation of, this was a Wednesday, a regular Wednesday, the week before school vacation. It's actually 60 when I left school, it's 64 degrees out and sunny and gorgeous. I will be going for a walk in a little bit. Um, and like my expectation was I'm going to go to school till a little after 3. Then I actually was going to plan to um, either do a couple of Reiki sessions or go for a walk or go to the beach. And I had plans, and the kids were going to be with their dad. Well, now, okay, well, that's changing. Now I have a kid coming home with me, and we're trying to maneuver and see things, and there's traffic, and there's, okay, what's the plan and what are we doing? So we could easily, oh, Alexa's talking to me. Alexa, turn off. Not sure what I just said. Alexa, turn off. Totally did not say her name, but she just decided to start playing stuff. Um, and so this can happen every day in different levels, right? We get thrown a curveball because this is life, right? We get thrown this curveball. It may not be quite as elaborate as the water's being shut off and the school has to get, everyone in the school has to get moved, right? Which was like, a lot of energy, but every day, or most days, many days, I should say, right? Things may not happen exactly how we had thought they would or planned that they would. We get thrown a curveball, all of a sudden, like a kid, we need to pick up our kids from school because they are not feeling well. Or we have to pick up our schools because they have no water and they can't go to the bathroom or eat or do anything. Um, or something might happen at work, or maybe we have to be home, whatever it is, right? we get thrown this curveball, and especially when there's other people around, oh, how do we get through the rest of our day? And we could easily succumb to that and allow ourselves to and allow this energy to come in and start worrying or get angry or feel really overwhelmed and chaotic and frazzled, right? But what are some ways that we can help ourselves and our children, right? And truly anybody around us, because people feed off of other people's energy, right? What can we do to help ourselves flow a little bit easier and have a little bit more like calm during these times when we get thrown these curveballs? So the first thing is you realizing that you can only control what you can control, which ultimately is you, right? And your reactions and your benefits. You're not able to control how other people react or what other people do, or in many ways, like what's happening in the situation, right? Like in this situation, I had to be there and I had to just figure out what my um job, I guess, what my piece of that puzzle is or was, right? So realizing first and just knowing those boundaries of like what you're able to control and what other people are able to control, while also realizing that your energy does affect other people. So if you start getting really chaotic and overwhelmed, other people are going to pick up on that, right? So you can only control how you react in your behavior. The other piece is to breathe. Just stop, take a deep breath. If you're starting to feel overwhelmed, you're starting to feel those feelings, take a deep breath and then let it out. Right there, you probably saw my shoulders move. Do that as many times as you need to, right? Take a deep breath and slow yourself down. Breath and oxygen is just beyond. I mean, that can help in any and every situation, right? If you're able to, take a few moments, even just like a minute, 2 minutes to breathe and maybe meditate, right? Think those, or try not to think all of those thoughts, right? And then be in the moment. And this is hard when you're getting thrown this curveball and you're got a plan and you got to figure out what's going on. And so what I mean by that is like be here and be present. What is happening right now, right this second? Because if we start thinking about things in the past or things that already happened, like if what happened already that morning, it's not going to do us any good, right? Or if we start thinking about, well, what's going to happen later this afternoon and what's going to happen at 5 p.m. and how are we going to do this? There are people's jobs. Some people's jobs are to figure those things out logistically. So, like taking that job and just figuring it out as a job and not getting all caught up in your mind and in your heart and getting all worked up about it. One of the principles in Reiki is just for today, do not worry. What happens is when we start worrying about the future and thinking about other things outside of the moment that we are in, that's when worry sets in, anxiety sets in, and we start getting, our heart starts beating fast, things start going, things start happening. It will work out, right? Like we're sitting in traffic. I'm sure there were plenty of parents that were on their way worrying if they were going to get to their kid on time. Um, you know, because they're stuck in traffic and they're trying to get there by the certain time before the bus is coming. I mean, there's so many different things, right? But if we worry about that, that leaves us open to getting in an accident on the way to pick them up, or um, it leads to more and more of that type of energy. So just, if there's something that you just have to make sure is okay and safe, stop what you're doing in that moment, check in to be sure. In this case, your child is safe. You're doing what you can, and then get back to that moment that you're in right now. When we bring in too much worry and we're thinking about too many things, it can stress us out, right? And then the other thing that I'd love to talk about a little bit is just helping others. So, in a situation where you're getting thrown a curveball, you're feeling like, oh my gosh, I'm not sure what to do. You're not the only one, right? And that's probably feeling this way, unless it's some sort of situation that literally only affects you. But usually, if you're in a group or there's, something happening, usually it affects at least one other person, right? So reach out to someone else and see if there's something you can do to help them. What happens is that takes some of that almost like pressure off you, and you're realizing you are not alone and others are going through this, and there is something that you can do. So when you get thrown a curveball, keep those boundaries. Think about what is going to help and work for you to protect your energy and to protect you in this moment. Is worrying going to help? Is getting all frantic? Is trying to control other people? Any of those things going to help and benefit? No, right? So getting back to what you can control, which is primarily you, or if you can help other people, having those boundaries, taking a deep breath, breathing, and being in the moment. Those are the things that are going to help when you do get thrown some type of curveball. And then, you can obviously there's might be some sort of strategizing or planning that might have to happen. But when you get too caught up in the feeling part of that, right? That's when you can get really overwhelmed. So, what is happening? And kind of think about that in a very factual way. And then as far as the feelings, being in the moment, right? Controlling what you can control, which mostly is you, right? And helping others. So, yeah, we got thrown a curveball today. So, it is 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I typically don't get home till well after 3. We've already been home for a couple hours. So, I'm here. I am open for the afternoon. I've got a couple of extra hours now available if anyone is in need of any Reiki or healing or anything. I'm here. Um, but anyway, I hope this was a little bit helpful, completely impromptu. Um, just a few things to think about when you do get thrown that curveball, right? And hopefully, everyone that I know that was impacted today, all of my local friends, I hope this did not cause too much stress for you, and hopefully you can think about a couple of these things and have a less stressful go with the flow and a more go with the flow afternoon. And if there's anything I can do to support you, let me know. Otherwise, have an amazing afternoon, and I'll speak with you soon. Take care.